Welcome aboard, and thanks for tuning in to the Heavy Metal Truckers, where we give our thoughts, honest thoughts, on all things heavy. We're your hosts, and in this, we are taking a look at the latest single at the time of filming for Belphegor. This is called Sentient Beast or something. It's Leviathan.
Oh, Scarlet Beast.
Scarlet Beast. Okay, I was close. Scarlet Beast, Leviathan. Let's get into it.
Why aren't you loading? I can hear it. It's important.
Alrighty, so thoughts?
Kind of torn on this one. I actually really enjoyed it musically.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it had a lot of really cool stuff going on. I liked a lot of the change-ups they made.
Oh yeah.
I liked overall feel of it. I liked some of the grooves they had. I liked the underlying female vocals that came in. I thought that added something really cool to it. My issue was the male vocals. As anybody who knows me, when it comes to harsh vocals, if I can't understand them, I won't say it ruins it for me, but it definitely hurts whatever I'm listening to. And him, I couldn't understand a word he was saying. Like, even if I had the lyrics in front of me, I still don't think I would have been able to understand them. So for me, that hurt what was otherwise a really good song. Like, musically, I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't understand a word the man was saying. and it, like, he was just there for me, you know. But yeah, I mean, besides that, I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it musically. Thought it was very good. Had a very gothic-y, old school feel to it kind of way, which I'm all about the goth sound. So,
yeah.
So no, musically, like I said, I loved it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of his vocals. Now I don't know if he always sounds like that. If he's always hard to understand. Yeah,
he has for a while.
I've never really listened to them. Like I said, I've never really listened to them, but. Yeah, he musically fantastic, but
no. If you want to know something funny, he's actually a little bit more discernible than he used to be.
Oh wow!
But then again, they were way heavier in the earlier years. But Frosty,
ditto. Yeah, no. Musically, Doppler hit it on the head. It was absolutely amazing. I love the subtle changes, the differences here and there. I loved a lot of the different aspects behind everything. It was literally the male vocals. It goes back to the traditional black metal, just white noise thing. That just it's almost like there wasn't even a need for a vocalist at that point. All they could have done was just turn on an old cable television from like the 70s and just had the white noise for the vocals.
So what you're saying is they're still accomplishing their means. Got it.
Right. Right. Yeah, no. So if it wasn't for the male vocals, I think I probably would get behind this a lot more. I'm definitely in agreement with Doppler here. I definitely enjoyed the gothic aspects behind it. The music was pretty fun. I think I did catch a couple of gutturals, if I'm not mistaken, or something like growling or whatever. And I was like, I actually do enjoy that. So I was like, okay, so at least there is something. But other than that, yeah, no, change up on the vocals a little bit, my guy.
Yeah. The tone of his vocals weren't my issue. The tones actually fit what was playing.
Yeah.
It was just I couldn't make out a damn thing he was saying.
Oh no, damn straight. You can't make out anything.
And there are some black metal vocalists I can understand. He is definitely not one.
Oh yeah.
Watain Eric of Watain is incredibly discernible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, first and foremost, Belphegor was and still remains to this day blackened death metal, and they definitely still one of the big reigners within that territory. Behemoth, unfortunately, has kind of become a bit more black and roll, which not a bad thing. It's just what they got going on. I mean, they still would be categorized somewhat within death metal, but they've kind of they got their own thing going on. They're kind of pushing. They're going more towards, but I digress.
Yes.
Helmuth, who is the vocalist, guitars, and in the recordings bass, he has always been very much into within, as far as death metal is concerned, the very low, very almost past a little, still falling within the false chord style of vocal, but also growling as well. But it's to make it sound as filthy and dark as possible. And he will have a little bit of snarling within the vocals, but there's also typically another vocalist that does more of the high end snarls of Belphegor. I don't remember his name offhand. But this is one of the things I definitely enjoy about Belphegor is, even though, yes, they do have lyrics, it's just Helmuth just keeps on to that just unsettling, dark, just very low demonic vocal. And I very much enjoy it. Because even though there are very good death metal vocalists out there, I still very much prefer those within the category or sub genre of blackened death metal, just because they tend to have this more ominous and almost mysteriousness to the vocal, to the lower end vocal, and this can obviously be heard here. The more clean and chanting style vocals is becoming more new for Belphegor, which kind of threw me off the first time I heard it, but I was intrigued about it because they go about it in a very Gregorian way, and which actually really works well for them and how they execute it. Instrumentally, though, there was so much going on because they still had their typical death metal style, but they were also bringing atmosphere into it, which they definitely did within their last album, The Devils. But in this one, they kind of went almost darker within the atmosphere, and they still held that mysterious aspect to it, the very ominous feel to it. But they kind of went from death metal instrumentals, like just the darker death metal instrumentals, similar to what you would almost find in just some of the, which I'm not an expert in this part at all, but it almost like some of the Hungarian scales of classical you could hear can have a little bit of a dark atmosphere to them, and so blending that with some of the sludgier aspects and just kind of doomy sort of feel, I guess you could basically say, there was that in it as well. And then I don't know, there was like 3 different things going on, and it just transitioned so beautifully. And especially like at the very end, just that heavy hitting, just dun, just that unsettlingness that Belphegor is so good at being able to execute. And it's one of the reasons why they're one of my favorite black and death metal groups. Just they know how to maintain a darkness, a unsettlingness, almost a horror aspect, but just ominous. In the earlier days, they were very much more just, this is just going to be very dark and gruesome. They've kind of lightened up on that in some aspects and just had a more haunting aspect to their instrumentals, which they still have, which some of the, how do I want to say it? Some of the more almost slower aspects to where it was atmospheric, even the atmospheric sections, and I don't know how best to describe this, but they sounded haunting, and that's what I love, a group that can do that, especially in this day and age. So both instrumentally and vocally, this worked so well, and I'm very intrigued to see what they're going to do with this upcoming album, just because I did enjoy The Devils, but I felt like it was missing something that I've come to know from Belphegor, at least for me. So I'm very intrigued to see what they do upcoming. So keep on with what you're doing, and yeah, I'm very anticipating on this next record. But until next time, guys, whether musically, lyrically, or literally, keep rolling heavy.